Good morning, Purdue fans, and welcome to Burden on Society. I'm your host, Pastor Bryant, and I'm here with just some details of things I've seen over the last week and a couple of the things heading into the Samford game as we go here into the weekend. And some of you are probably watching some football, so enjoy that. Let's hope the Boilermakers put out a pretty solid performance, and maybe they steal one there. You never know what can happen sometimes in sports. Isn't that the way it is? Here's some thoughts, all right? First off, the Purdue game on Monday is the real deal, right? Samford, it actually counts on that day. We've had an exhibition game against Grace and one against Arkansas. And that leads me to the Arkansas deal. If you're an Arkansas fan, there are trolls out there everywhere. You are trolling the Purdue fans all over the place. You got into Brian Newbert's hair. It looks like he got a little upset about it. I even got one on mine. It wasn't real mean or anything. It's just, hey guys, it's the beginning of the season. Let's see what happens, right? Here's what I want you to do. Back in March, when we get there to that point, let's check out the records and see what happens by that point. Meanwhile, your team is good, so don't be upset about that. You got something to look forward to if you are a Rzrback men's basketball fan. They're going to be pretty good all season. But Purdue, I think, is going to be much better at this point. So, here's some of the things I love about what we've seen so far. I went and looked at some of the Samford highlights, not their highlights, but just tried to find some stats on them and everything. Have you seen the highlight that Samford put out on their Twitter account and their Instagram account about their basketball team? It is hilarious. It is fun when teams can have fun about their season, enjoy what's going to happen. They know they're a huge underdog, not Samford, but maybe kind of how we call it, David versus Goliath, as you could think. Samford is David, and Goliath, of course, being Purdue is the big boys, right? But in this case, both teams are good. They're having fun, and we really enjoyed that video they put out. See if you can find it somewhere for that Samford basketball team. It was pretty funny. So what else are we going to see from that? Well, here's what I saw from the Samford team itself. They do have a 7-footer on there, but he's not played much. He was in a couple other programs before, too, so I don't know what you're going to see out of this guy. They do have one 6'9" guy and two 6'7" guys. So here we are, short guys again. Now, are their guards quick and fast? Can they move the ball around? We'll have to see how that goes. But these are kind of good invitations, so to speak, of what you want to see is going to happen during the season. And hopefully Samford does that for you. Gives you an idea how your guards are going to play against this kind of tempo game, if that's what they're going to play, and see what goes from there. But here's a couple of the problems I do see as the season goes on, of course. What we saw in just the Grace game, backdoor cuts. Soon as Purdue gets spread out, the backdoor cuts come, right? Now, this is for every team. How does Purdue kind of lock down on that? Because it seemed like there were a lot of easy baskets for Grace. Still great, solid defense, I think, but the backdoor cuts are something that I think other teams are going to use against Purdue a lot. Not just the press, but backdoor cuts. And, of course, threes. During the season, it's going to be like that. Everybody out there is going to be complaining about the threes. They're not hitting enough. When will it cave if they do start shooting good? And then when's they're going to have a bad game? Get used to that. As long as they're, say, 33% to 37%, they're going to win almost every single ball game. When they get below that, down around that 20% like they did several times last year, they're going to be 50-50 at best, it looks like. Competition is going to be tough all season, too. It's going to be right on them. They're going to get the best game from everybody every single night. How about this? Turning it up on Twitter. You folks out there are turning up on Twitter. So not only was Arkansas getting into it and kind of jabbing at Purdue constantly and everybody, but a lot of you are getting out there and putting out a lot of good information. Some of the stuff I get right straight from Twitter. I just talk about it there. So some of you great guys out there that are putting that information out, shout out to you. Here's one. I'm going to be putting some pictures up with some of the guys off and on. I think I got them straight from the Purdue Boilermaker website and when they put them out on Twitter. And my favorite is Miles Colvin. Why do I love Miles Colvin? Miles, first I love just the word Miles, all right? The guy is a sweet shooter. We know that. Love his hair. But I got an idea for Miles. How about a little bit of headband action going there? Maybe even a black and gold headband. That might work too. Huh? All right, so that's up what I kind of like to see from Miles. A lot of the guys still played pretty good in those last couple games, but I love the Miles picture. How about big man U recruiting, right? Here, Purdue got another one, a 7-footer. Now, I've seen 7'2", I've seen 7'3" from Jacobson. He wanted to go to Wisconsin, or at least that's what the word on the street was, but he ended up coming and committing to Purdue. Another big man. He may even redshirt, I hear, from a year, a possibility, but you never know with these guys. Remember, Zach Edey was very raw, but I saw a video of him working out so hard, I really thought something was in there. And sure enough, it popped to the surface last year, and it's continuing this year with the big man, Zach Edey. But all these guys are going to learn from that. Berg, Heidi, they shot some really good shots, and they were shooting some threes. Those kind of things were upticks in the game, in the last game, so things were looking really good from some of the big men that are out there. How about this, though? What can you expect during the season? Zedy's going to get banged hard. It does not matter. You guys got to get used to it. He's going to get hit 3, 4, 5 times. He's going to be swamped with people. They're going to call fouls sometimes, and they're going to call fouls sometimes not. One of the things that does look like that little step drop he goes from the top of the key now, where he takes a step, 2 steps up to the basket, looking like kind of like a big old guard. That's going to be pretty monstrous this year as the season goes on, as long as it isn't traveling. Some of you thought the same thing I did. It looks like traveling, doesn't it? But I think no one called it, and it looks like you're going to get away with it. You see the 2 big steps after the dribble. I think this is something that's going to be a monster deal for people. It's going to draw the big men away from the basket and bring him around the corner. Now, can he do it to his left, though? That's the question. We know he went to his left. That's the one thing he could do. Let's think the opposite direction. Going to his right. Can he go to his right and do it? Then he's a force big time. He's got the shot near the basket. He's got the shot a little farther out. He may even pop a 3 on somebody once in a while. How about the guards? I think guards, TKR, all taking a step up. They're going to score more. They're going to have more assists. They're going to be more involved in every single game. They're not going to get pushed around. The guards are this year. They're sophomores. Things step up usually that year. And TKR, everybody sees it. The dude's going to be a monster. That's for sure. We just got to find a way that it all works out together. Who else is going to take a step, though? What about some of the other guys, right? Mason Gillis, I already think he's up there in kind of the elite levels, and if you put him in all the time, the dude's going to give you a rock-solid game. First, same thing, got different ways he does it, but he's going to be solid around the basket, going to give you putbacks, all kinds of different stuff, and somehow he quietly scores, it seems like, 10 a game, doesn't it? Something around there, and he has 4 or 5 rebounds, it seems like, every game. So some of the guys are going to take some big steps this year, too. Who will they be? Those are going to be some of the questions. But what's coming up? The Samford game. Coming up on Monday. It looks like it's about 6:30 p.m., November 6th against Samford. Purdue's going to be in that game. They're going to be pretty tough. I know that. I don't think all the starters are going to get a lot of full-time play again because it looks like it should be where the Purdue gets up. I kind of like it where it may be fairly closer, where the Purdue starters get to continue to work their game out and get that going, and we get the kind of movement in and out. We find somebody who may become a starter or somebody who's a starter who shouldn't be. We'd like to see a little more play like that, but that doesn't always happen with these early season games. So expect Purdue to win, yes. Expect Samford to come in. Great team, having fun with what they're doing. They seem to be outmatched, but I love their hilariousness with their videos. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully we have a great outcome in the next video. I'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching Burden on Society.